slowly getting on the live. I noticed that it doesn't really start when I hit start. I don't know when exactly it starts. Anyway, I'm going to start. Good evening. Welcome to day 3 of the U.S. Israel Iran war. There's a lot of countries there to remember. And actually, there are many more we might have to remember. I'm just going to turn here. Now, unfortunately, my camera here is on blur background. Don't ask me why. I don't know how to get it off. But do you see the 13 countries that could possibly be involved? I'm just going to do a little, let's see how many I know. I'm not 100%.
Well, there's some that are already involved.
I'm a little iffy on this. Some are already involved. Okay, Israel involved, U.S. involved. Okay, we have, look at this, Cyprus, England, Jordan, right? UAE. Bahrain, Qatar, or vice versa?
No, right. Bahrain is the red.
Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Greece. Help me out. Kuwait? No. These two guys. One has got to be Kuwait.
Iraq is the middle one.
Iraq. Okay, so there's Iraq. So is this Kuwait?
Has to be.
And this is Iran. This is it. Guys, do you see how many countries could possibly be involved in this war that has just broken out? We're on day 3, and like I said, I have a post somewhere that you can find on Substack, there's a link to it from Facebook, in which I wrote, day 3, we have no idea, except for the number of days, we have no idea what day it is. But this is about to either die out or go crazy and become World War III. 13 countries could possibly be involved. So let's talk about, here are some things that we already know and some things that I can't yet figure out what's happening. Tony, can you hit play again so I have like a little, see if what this guy says a little bit. Okay, so what we do know is that I woke up this morning, and actually I slept through the night, amazingly, between sirens. Can you turn it just a little bit lower? So I slept through the night between sirens. Big mistake, because I woke up, until right now, I have not caught up with all of the news alerts that have come in. I mean, I woke up to about 200 news alerts. Well, actually, I woke up to a siren. And then after that, it was like all downhill from there, just in terms of, it's amazing how busy you can be just doing, just existing in your 80 square meter space. So I'm just now catching up. Wake up to sirens. Okay, so Iran is still functioning. You realize that? Okay, they're still launching. So as I'm stumbling down the stairs with everybody and making sure the kids have shoes and socks, and then getting into a shelter, etc., start going through the messages. Hezbollah decided to join the party. So Hezbollah is the terror group based in the Iranian sponsored proxy terror group that's very large. It's like one of the largest non-state militias, and they're based in southern Lebanon. And they were fully active in the war that went on for 2 years. That when Hamas invaded on October 7th, Hezbollah jumped in the next day, and so that was in 2023. So very involved, and about over a year's worth of war on the northern border with Israel. So there has been a hesitant ceasefire for over a year now, and the ceasefire has involved Israel still making targeted attacks on Hezbollah targets, and recently the U.S. has been trying to step up diplomatic efforts to reach an agreement. And one of the agreements is that the Lebanese government would have to disarm Hezbollah they're in charge of the Lebanese army was tasked with getting Hezbollah's weapons and that was going to be like the big game changer for an agreement, some kind of normalization between Israel and Lebanon. That hadn't yet happened, and the big question was if someone attacked Iran, whether the U.S. and of course with Israeli involvement, that was like Iran's going to retaliate. But the question would be, what about Iran's proxies, Hezbollah being the big one, and also the Houthis? Now they stayed out of it for 3 days. Probably it's not even a full 72 hours. And last night they launched a couple of missiles at northern Israel. And since then, Israel has been responding, just taking out Hezbollah neighborhoods, targeted attacks in the Dahia neighborhood in Beirut, and also other areas of Hezbollah strongholds in Lebanon. And there's been, like, you see videos of like a total exodus from these neighborhoods. Like cars just can't get anywhere. It looks like a normal workday in Jerusalem. The traffic is that bad. But so this is Israel's response was, oh, that's it. We're not taking this. You're out. And so they have gone full on against all of their targets. It looks like probably they're going to be targeting the recently appointed, since the death of Hassan Nasrallah, was it Naim Qassem is his name. And so he's probably targeted. I think they did try to get another big one there. I don't know if that succeeded, but in any case, so even a U.S. official said, well, Hezbollah broke the ceasefire agreement, so now Israel can do whatever it wants. But that also means that Israel is now in a two-front war, because Israel has been nonstop with Iran. I have some numbers. Now comes the challenge to find where I actually saved all my numbers. But by the way, I just want to share something that I just actually burst out laughing. I mean, I can't say that I agree with this necessarily, but I have to say this was written really well. But there was an Israeli reporter who put out this headline: Hezbollah commits Israel-assisted suicide. And I actually just had to laugh. I mean, because this is the response that you're seeing now from Israel. It's just like, oh, we're going to go all out. Oh, you broke the ceasefire. Thank you for the excuse. And so I mean, I don't know if I actually agree with that assessment. If Hezbollah is finished because of that, I don't know what their capabilities are, but in any case, that was pretty funny. All right, so Israel, the IDF. What did the IDF say? They put out a number that they hit something like 6,000 targets.
I think 600.
600. Tony says 600.
I thought I heard 600.
I thought I saw. All right. Wipe that. Hold on. Who's? Let me see what this one is. What did this one say? No, this is not where I saved it. Sorry. See, I have my stuff saved like all over the place. I sent some to Tony, and then I put some here and there. Okay. I'm reading. But what I do have to tell you is that, come on, how many targets did they hit?
All right, the idea is for if it said that 1,100 targets total.
1,100 targets total.
And I had been struck by Israel.
Oh, where is that great thing I saved? I had like all these great numbers, and I probably sent it to somebody by accident instead of sending it to myself. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I mean, again, it's like I don't know where you got your source.
Don't ask me where I got my source. Let's just scratch that. I'm going to see if I sent it to Emily, because I actually sent her something by accident. Oh, okay. This is going back to Lebanon. The Lebanese Prime Minister, Najib Salam, declared the outlawing of Hezbollah's military activity. He said, "We declare that we oppose any military or security action originating from Lebanese territory and outside the framework of the state's legitimate institutions. We call on the security forces to prevent any attack from Lebanese territory. We declare a ban on Hezbollah's military activity and restrict its activity to the political sphere." Okay, so now, do his words carry any weight? I don't know, but this is, I mean, but it's very interesting that he is putting out this statement right here, because if any people in Lebanon are starting to speak up against Hezbollah. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay, so Israel's been striking Tehran, the heart of Tehran, all day. And there was also this was an amazing assessment that I heard from somebody, that the whole operation to get the Ayatollah Khamenei was months of preparation, but it was done in 60 seconds. He said it all came down to 60 seconds. This is the spokesperson for the IDF, Nadav Shoshani. And he said it took 1 minute to successfully eliminate 40 key leaders, including 7 members of the top Iranian security leadership who had gathered at several locations in Tehran. So that was that mission. I'll get the numbers for you in the next one about how many targets that Israel said that it hit. But here are some other unbelievable things that are going on. Here's some numbers for you. The UAE has been attacked in 541 drones, 2 cruise missiles, and 165 ballistic missiles. That's the United Arab Emirates. And, Iran is saying that they're going after American military targets and American assets in these places. But if you just see any of the videos, there are hotels being hit, residential buildings. Also in Bahrain. Bahrain has absorbed a lot of attacks, even Qatar. But now here is, and Kuwait, by the way, and also I think the American embassy in Kuwait and also in Erbil in Iraq, they were both attacked as well. One, they said it was destroyed, but I have not verified that information. Doha, Qatar, said that they shot down 2 Iranian jets. Again, I have not verified this information, but they put out an official statement saying that they did that. Yes, Kuwait was the U.S. embassy. Now, also, there was an oil field or a company, Aramco, you probably have heard of it, that was attacked in Saudi Arabia. So Iran, though, is they're going after their neighbors more so than Israel, because I can tell you, aside from our 3 trips to the bomb shelter today, that was it for Jerusalem. We had a few attacks yesterday. We had many fewer today. We've had nothing since I think it was around noon today. Absolutely nothing. It's kind of unnerving. The quiet is a little bit unnerving because it just makes you wonder. But in the meantime, the attacks are going elsewhere. Also, Cyprus. Now, Cyprus is even beyond us. Another, 1-hour plane ride from the airport in Tel Aviv. Then you get to Cyprus. So we're talking even further west, even further for Iran. Why are they attacking Cyprus? Apparently, there are U.S. jets that have stopped there at British air bases, and they're attacking the British air bases. So, here's some other information. Let's see about that. Because this is going to drag, if you saw in the beginning all of those flags, It's also going to drag in Greece. So, of course, Cyprus is being targeted. And then Greek warships and F-16s heading to Cyprus. Greek warships heading to Cyprus. The foreign minister Dendias confirms Greece has ordered the immediate deployment of a military force to the Republic of Cyprus following strikes on the island and a deteriorating regional security situation. Why? Revolutionary Guard General says, we will strike Cyprus hard. Senior commander of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has warned of intensified missile strikes on Cyprus, claiming the U.S. has significantly expanded its military footprint on the islands, Iranian national media reported. So this now drags in countries outside of the Middle East, European nations that were serving as like a base for the US military are now possible targets. So again, it is growing, but my question is whether Iran has enough capability left to continue this war. And I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I do know that we are sitting here on day 3 with only 3 rocket attacks or 3 sirens, let's say, in Jerusalem. There have been other attacks. There were definitely also hits. I mean, there were a couple that went through. I don't think there were any deaths today in Israel specifically, but there were a couple of more missile attacks that occurred in the center of the country, and some of them got through the defenses, and there were impacts, but not on buildings, in between buildings. Yes, ruined buildings, destroyed buildings, threatened lives, but nobody was killed today. Now, today though was there were funerals for the 9 victims yesterday of the Beit Shemesh attack, and there were also, I mean, the Beit Shemesh is a city outside of Jerusalem, like it's a little bit west of Jerusalem, and it was just when you look like a drone shot of the devastation, it was massive. It was a direct impact on a shelter, and 9 people were killed. Many are still wounded. So anyway, so there were funerals today for a lot of these victims, and there are 3 other victims in Israel, so 12 total. But that's it otherwise. Now, Israel also called up over 100,000 reserve soldiers. So no sooner had everything just died down and there was a ceasefire back in October, then suddenly people are all called back up. And I feel like there's like an attack right here. Man, she really shook the chair. Like, what are you trying to do here? Cause like, anyway, every time we hear like there's this big dumpster outside, it like gets dropped or like by the garbage truck or whatever, we're like, oh, was that an impact? What's that? What's happening? Anyway, so, and then you got the cat, but she just sleeps through it all. What does she care? All right, there's, wow, the IDF just completed a wave of strikes in Lebanon. Okay, again, against the terrorist Hezbollah organization. And here we go, here's another one. The IDF completed a wave of strikes against command centers belonging to the Interior Security and Ministry of Intelligence in the heart of Tehran. So, yeah, they have, I think I'm mixing up my numbers, but also because there are numbers out there in terms of how many that Israel says that they have taken out in terms of the IRGC and Basij. So, wow, what else? I mean, was that enough? Isn't that enough?
Or the Basij.
The Basij, I don't know. I think it's like a police force in Iran that go and I think it's like police, some kind of police.
Yeah, like secret police or something like that.
Yeah.
They
So
also have taken out. They said like all these little government, no, like mishtab, like there was
like
yeah, like
police
police,
or government
right,
centers.
right,
Uh-huh.
exactly. So they've been taking
Yeah.
these facilities out as well. So they're kind of like
Yeah. So
depleted.
according to what Israel's saying, we're finding out the bank of targets that Israel says that they have and they've attacked. Now, I don't know as much about what the US is doing. There were reports today, but they haven't like revisited these reports that they attacked a nuclear site. Isfahan, right?
I don't know about that.
Okay, so there were reports, but then again, reports pop up and then they go, and then they fizzle, and then you wonder if they weren't true at all. Walter, hey, Walter is saying that I have a friend that is in the UAE. Wow, so you have a friend. So how is this friend doing in the UAE? And hi, Jennifer. What it makes no sense. They're trying to get everyone against them. I know. So here's the other thing: is that a lot of these countries that are getting attacked, they are not retaliating. So you've got Saudi Arabia gets its oil field, like oil company, attacked on its soil, and also Qatar. I mean, I thought Qatar and Iran were better off. I don't know. And then UAE, Bahrain, nobody's retaliating. So I don't understand. I've heard different reports as to why. Now, I think one of the, like, let's say last but not least that I want to touch on is the fact that everybody is talking about, okay, Walter just got back to us and said that his friend is safe and she's doing well. Okay, great. Okay, the friend in the UAE. Okay, that's good to know, because actually, I mean, we're seeing a lot of reports of what's happening over there, and they are getting hit. I don't know the death tolls in these countries, but okay, Tammy says, I think it's a matter of time for the other countries, you think, to get involved and to retaliate. I don't understand what's taking them so long. They're condemning the attacks and stuff, but the last thing I want to touch on is that people are talking about, especially when I say people, actually the leader of America and the leader of Israel are saying, like, we are preparing the ground for regime change. And so you Iranian people, like, here you go. Like, we're taking out the regime so that you can go and get the government you want, the democratic government that you want. So a few things that I want to say here. First of all, regime change is always an iffy thing. Now, I just was in an interview with an Israeli analyst. She's a former Mossad agent. Very interesting. And I'm going to be writing a story based on some of the stuff she said. But for now, while I still have the notes and it's fresh in my mind, allow me to hash this out with you guys. She was saying that taking out the Ayatollah Khamenei, we're all going like, amazing. Wow. Everybody's saying you took him out. Like, you see the rejoicing in the streets in Iran and the expat Iranians all over the world, and saying like, okay, now we can, let's get Pahlavi in there or whoever. But she was saying that taking out a person doesn't give you regime change. This is a system. It's a wider network and a system. And she said also, while you have millions who are against this tyrannical rule, you also have many people who are not going to give it up lightly, who are actually in favor of it. So she doesn't think that this is how you set the ground for regime change. Now, she also said, that being said, we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. There might be stuff happening behind the scenes that is preparing the ground for regime change. But in the meantime, just the military action and just wiping out the leadership isn't necessarily going to spell regime change, because it's a system that's been running, that's been set in place. It's an ideology and it's theology, and many people subscribe to it. And they're not just going to say, okay, out with the old, in with the new. It could also lead to some kind of civil war. I also just wrote an article that was published just today. Let me see if I can get the link quickly. About the other supposed, the other group that, let's say, is rivaling Reza Pahlavi for, I say that, but I don't know how, what's the word, how relevant this group is in Iran. It's just that they are portraying themselves. I just got the link. They are portraying themselves as an alternative here. I think only the people in YouTube get the link. So I'll try to post this later on Facebook. Please remind me if I don't do that, because me and posting things doesn't always happen in a coherent manner. So anyway, I just posted this article. You can read it later. A deep dive into a group there in Iran, or that was based in Iran, but now they're exiled. And they also claimed, like this, the woman who's the head of it, she declared herself the head of a transitional government already. Like as soon as Khamenei was killed, she was like, okay, it's time for a provisional government, and I will take charge. And actually, so the more I did a deep dive in this, like I was speaking with an Iranian about this, and I said, well, what about, he was talking about Pahlavi, who was the crown prince, the son of the Shah, to take over. And I said, well, aren't there other groups? And like, how do I know, of 93 million people in Iran, how do I know like that really the majority would want Pahlavi? I said, well, what about this woman? And he was like, he recoiled at the sound of her name. And he was like, no, you need to research this organization. So I did. And I wrote an article about it. So the question is, again, like, if let's say she wants to come in with her group and they're like trained Islamic Marxist terrorists, if they come in and try to get their rule in, this could be a bloodbath. So I don't think Pahlavi just waltzes in and takes the throne. So the question just being, what is out there, like what's going to be the day after, and what is going to be like, Trump is now saying that this action could last for weeks. And that was in response to the new leader in Iran, Ali Larijani. He said something like, well, you guys, you don't have like a long perspective as we do. And, we here in Iran, let me see if I can actually find his quote, because but he was basically just needling the U.S. and Israel, saying like, well, we're prepared for the long haul, not you guys. So I can't find it. Oh, yes, I can find it really fast. Okay. I got Trump's response. Okay, so here's what he wrote. As in the past 300 years, Iran did not start this war, and our brave armed forces have not engaged in. Oh, wait, no. Here he says, this is his. Iran, unlike the United States, has prepared itself for a long war. And then, in response to that, Trump was like, oh, no, we're prepared. We're prepared for the long war. This is going to last for a few weeks. And then also the U.S., Israel has said here, Trump said, at first we expected it would take 4 to 5 weeks, but we have the ability to continue much longer than that. We will do it. And somebody said today, well, the president wants to do this really fast, otherwise he'll get bored. I'm not bored. There's nothing boring about this. So that was Trump's response to him. So anyway, we're in for a long haul, most likely. Israel extended its restrictions for the Home Front Command through Saturday, and I think they said something like a state of emergency will last through at least March 12th. And then that could always be extended yet again. So we really have no idea what we're in for. I can tell you though, we have just been here today with relatively little action and reason to run to a bomb shelter or to be concerned, and letting our guard down a little bit, which of course you never know if that's really the way, really, if that's right or not. Who knows? It could all be a ruse. It was all a ruse before. All right, just so you know, U.S. Central Command has put out a statement saying that 2 days ago, the Iranian regime had 11 ships in the Gulf of Oman. Today, they have 0. The Iranian regime has harassed and attacked international shipping in the Gulf of Oman for decades. Those days are over. Freedom of maritime navigation has underpinned American and global economic prosperity for more than 80 years. U.S. forces will continue to defend it. All right, so very interesting. If I stay on any longer, there will be more news. Qatar saying that their Patriot missiles are going to run out in 4 days. And Trump says there's 4 more weeks of this. Qatar. Oh, wow. Okay. So, and that's Qatar that shot down, they said, Iranian fighter jets. So that is crazy. All right. So also IDF spokesperson said the Israeli Air Force has carried out 1,000 combat sorties in the skies of Iran. I think I was struggling with the number before in case you guys missed that. And yeah, and that's it. And other than that, I'm just going to have to stop reading the news updates because they just don't stop. So I'm stopping. All right. Thank you very much for tuning in. And wait, just one thing Tammy says, bombers that are based in the bombed tunnel entrance. Right. So I'll check on the nuclear stuff because, again, they didn't pick up on it again on the news, which was it makes you wonder, makes you suspicious. And also, thank you very much, Robert, for joining as well. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. This has been lively, right? So I would say check back in tomorrow because as things develop, we'll be here to talk about it. And if you go to my Substack, you can follow along with my writing and my news reports there as well. So thank you very much for joining, and I will catch you the next time. Ciao.